Hello there, my name is JNWN and welcome to JNWN. In JNWN we share news from all around the world. What kind of news? Business, financial, and economic news. Today we're going to be discussing COVID-19 and why it is much worse than the flu. Firstly, let's clarify what coronaviruses are. As explained by Hopkins Medicine, coronaviruses are a type of virus in which is a variety of kind, many of them causing disease. The most recently identified type of coronaviruses is COVID-19, a new strain of coronaviruses. It was named COVID-19 by the WHO, with the COVID standing for coronaviruses, the D standing for disease, and the 19 standing for the year it was identified, 2019. The WHO also says that other types of coronaviruses include the flu, to more dangerous diseases such as SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, and MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome. The symptoms of COVID-19 are various. The Singapore government says symptoms include a fever over 37.5 Celsius, loss of taste/smell, a runny nose, sore throat, body ache, cough, and a few others. Some people also have more severe symptoms due to COVID-19, such as difficulty breathing. As Harvard Medical School explains, COVID-19 can also infect brain function, such as loss of smell and taste, dizziness, strokes, seizures, and even muscle weakness. Some of these symptoms are also symptoms of the flu, because, as explained earlier, the flu and COVID-19 are part of the same type of viruses, coronaviruses. Of course, there are also people infected with COVID-19 who are asymptomatic, meaning that while they're infected with COVID-19, they don't display any symptoms. But just because of the fact that COVID-19 and the flu are part of the same type of viruses doesn't mean that they are the same. In fact, COVID-19 is much worse. Let's look at why. A disease basic reproduction number, or R0, is something that scientists use to show the contagiousness of a certain disease. It's the expected or average amount of people someone could infect if they had a certain disease. The flu has an R0 of 1.3, meaning that if you had the flu, you'd be expected to infect either 1 or 2 people. COVID-19 has an R0 of 2/2.5, which might not seem that big of a difference compared to the flu. Fox, a media organization, decided to see how large this difference was, and the results were shocking. After 10 rounds of infections, starting off with one person who either infected 1 or 2 people, who either infected 1 or 2 people each, so forth and so forth, the flu is expected to infect 56 people. This is from us assuming, again, that each person infects between 1 and 2 people. But after 10 rounds of infections, starting off with one person, COVID-19 is expected to infect more than 2,000 people, which is much more than 56. But it gets worse. When infected with COVID-19, it takes up to 14 days to determine whether or not you have the symptoms. You could have COVID-19 for up to 14 days and not even know it. After those 14 days, someone infected would either start displaying those symptoms or they won't, as they would be asymptomatic. These 14 days are called the incubation period. Meanwhile, the flu has an incubation period of just 2 days before you start displaying any symptoms. COVID-19 is also much more fatal. Currently, the fatality rate for COVID-19 is between 2 and 3%, and the fatality rate for the flu is 0.1%. Not only does COVID-19 have a higher R0, it also has a higher incubation period, meaning there's a higher chance you could spread it without knowing you are, and COVID-19 has a higher fatality rate, meaning there's a higher chance you could die from it compared to the flu. If you're panicking right now, that's expected. More than 4 million people are currently infected, and all predictions from medical and infectious disease experts about when this will go away are grim. So many flaws in our international systems are being exposed. such as our healthcare system's low medical capacity. Even the fact that every single country and the United Nations knew that such coronaviruses existed. And there has been worldwide experience with SARS. Many countries are still struggling to contain this virus. How can the world beat this? Well, we can start with social distancing. Don't meet other people at all when you're not in your households, and don't leave your households unless you need to. Make sure you're following your country's procedures and rules, and finally, take care of each other. The world will get through this. Don't let all this bad news beat you. There's some good news too. For example, more than 1 million people are recovered, with many more expected to follow. And good news outside of this whole coronavirus situation include the fact that, for example, scientists have discovered a new bacteria that eats plastic. We can get through this together. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe and turn on the notifications bell. I'm Janev Shah, and this is JNWN.